Hi, everyone. Today we're going to be reading a book about Barack Obama, who was one of the presidents of the United States. Before we begin, though, we need to read the glossary so we know some key terms and definitions when we come across them throughout the text. These terms are often bolded, and it's just important for us to know so that we can make sense of what we're reading. So, our glossary is typically found at the end of the text or at the bottom. Over here, you can see the word glossary. One of the words that we're going to come across is cultures. Cultures is the ideas and customs of different groups of people. Another word we're going to be reading about is elected. Elected means chosen by people who voted. A third word is government. Government is a group of people who make and enforce laws for a country. Our final couple of words are, one of them is a lawyer. Lawyer is a person whose job is to give people advice about the law or to represent them in court. Another word is message, which means an idea that someone could have about something. And finally, speech, which is a talk given by someone to a group of people. Now that we know these bolded words and their definitions from reading the glossary, we can go back to the beginning and start to read our text about Barack Obama. As you can see on the left side, there's a table of contents. Today we're going to be reading about a section called A Big Job, a section called Growing Up, a section called Finding His Way, a section about him and government, and finally a section about the new president. And as you can see, they even include the glossary in the table of contents in case you want to go back and check one of those bolded words. If you cannot remember, you can always just go check or recheck the definition. And they start off with this picture and a caption of a young Barry in high school. Barry must have been a nickname for Barack back when he was younger. We're going to start off with the first section, A Big Job. Follow along as I read and try to track with either your eyes, a pencil, or your finger. Did you ever think about being president of a country? Do you wonder why someone would want such a big job? Barack Obama was elected president of the United States in November 2008. Wow, almost 12 years ago, guys. Again, that keyword elected, you can see right there. Let's go back and think if that makes sense. If he was elected president, what does that mean? If you're not sure, go check the glossary. Let's continue on and read the section called Growing Up. Barack was born in 1961 in Hawaii. People called him Barry when he was young, just like in the picture we were looking at earlier. His mother was a white woman from the United States. His father was a black man from an African country. Barry's father moved away to Africa when Barry was very young. Later, his mother married a man from a country in Asia. Barry's family moved to that country. Many people there were very poor. So there's Barack. It says in the caption, Barack is a boy with his mother, Ann. And over here it says Barack is a boy with his father, Barack Sr. So his father had the same first name as him. So Barack Obama, the president, was a junior, but his father was the senior. There he is, Barack with his grandparents. We're going to continue reading. Make sure you're tracking. Barry moved back to Hawaii at age 10. He lived with his grandparents until he finished high school. Barry lived in many homes and many cultures. There's another one of our glossary words. He did not know where he belonged in the world. As you can see in this map here, it shows his beginnings. He grew up in Indonesia and Hawaii right here. His mom was from Kansas and his dad was from Kenya. So even though he grew up over here, his mom was all the way on the other side of the Pacific Ocean here, and his dad was on the other side of the world over here. And you can see this is him in New York when he was in college. Do you know Barack's African name means blessed? Now we're going to read the section called Finding His Way. Barry left Hawaii in 1979. He moved away to go to another school. He started to use his African name, Barack. He started to see that he was African American and white. He did not have to choose between the two. So I think he was very confused about where he stood in the world because his mom was from a different area than his dad. But finally, when he was able to go to school in Hawaii, he saw himself as both an African American and a white or Caucasian person. Let's continue to read. Barack wanted to help poor people have better lives. He moved to Chicago. He helped people learn about new jobs, but he wanted to help even more. This is Barack helping people in his Chicago neighborhood. And this is a picture of him when he went to Harvard Law School, which is a very, very important and very, very big college that people who are really, really smart get into. Barack wanted to become a lawyer. Lawyer is another key vocab word. Keep that in mind. He wanted to help change laws. He moved to Boston and studied law. Harvard Law School is in Boston, so it's another good fact to know. Let's continue to read over here on the left. After Barack became a lawyer, he moved back to Chicago. He helped change laws to make life better for poor people. Let's read the Do You Know section. Barack met a lawyer named Michelle Robinson when he moved back to Chicago. They married the next year. They have 2 daughters, Malia and Sasha. So if you don't know about Barack Obama, a lot about him, but you know about Michelle Obama, that is his wife. And then they have a daughter named Malia, who's over here in the picture, and another daughter named Sasha. Let's read this last section, in government. Barack wanted to help even more. He became part of the government of his state. Later, he became part of the government in Washington. Here's a picture of him campaigning so he could be important in the government in 2004. And a lot of his family, his wife and his 2 daughters, are with him. Here he's giving an important speech, and you can see all these Obama posters everywhere. Continue to read. Make sure you're tracking. And how about when we see a bold word, we just put a thumbs up now. And I'll try not to stop at it. I want you guys making sure that you're looking out for those bold words or those words from the glossary. Barack made a big speech in 2004. He saw ways to help the United States be a better nation. He asked all Americans to work together. He spoke about peaceful ways to solve problems. Many people liked Barack's speech. They liked his message of hope and peace. They liked his clear thinking. They wanted Barack to be president. After 4 years of hard work, Barack was elected president. What were the 2 key vocab words from the glossary there? If you saw this one, speech, and put a thumbs up, you're right. And then the other one, message, there's another vocab word that we read about in the glossary at the very end. And here's a picture of Barack selling one of his books, which became bestsellers, which means a lot of people bought them and read them. Barack spoke to a big crowd after he was elected president, and let's finally read about him when he became president, what he did. All along as I read this last section. Barack began his job as president on January 20th, 2009. He and his family moved into the White House. In October 2009, President Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize. He received the award for helping to make the world a better and more peaceful place. Oh, that's a really important reward. or award to receive. That's amazing. So that's all about President Barack Obama. If you choose to write about him this week, and you maybe forget some of the key facts or some of the things that we talked about, you can always come back to this video and re-listen if that helps. Good luck this week, and I hope you enjoyed learning about President Obama.